Good morning, sir. I'm sorry I missed some connection.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning, Dr. Natarajan.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Very good morning. Very good morning, all of you. Dr. Natarajan, visible on either side.
Good morning.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Visible on either side, yeah.
Good morning, everybody.
Very good morning to you. Welcome. We will start in the next 1 minute, please. And I request all participants other than speakers to kindly mute your microphones and switch off your cameras. Speakers to keep their cameras on but mute your microphones, please. Thank you. Hello, good morning, namaskar. I'm Dr. Rupa Vasudevan. I am the Chancellor for Bharat Engineering, Science and Technology Innovation University, and also the Global Chairperson and Founder of World Forum for Education. I'm joined here by our Chairman, Shri Bharat Meena ji, ex-IAS from Karnataka State, and the Chairman of Bharatiya Engineering, Science and Technology Innovation University. I am also joined here by Shri Manmohan Singh, ex-IAS from the Andhra Pradesh cadre, also the Senior Advisor for Best Innovation University. Also joined here with all my staff and faculty. I welcome wholeheartedly the entire panelist of esteemed speakers who have taken time out to speak on such an important topic of agricultural technology and global food security today. Welcome one and all. I'm also joined here by my very dear colleagues from World Women Leading Change, the founder, Dr. Ayla Al-Jofri, Ambassador Alice, who is the World Women Leading Change Africa President, also Ambassador Debbie, the Vice President of Africa and the President for South Africa, and our other friends, Dr. Madam Joy from Africa. So we have a very good speaker also here nominated by Ambassador Alice today, who will give us and enlighten us on agricultural technology and food security. A little bit about what BESTIU is all about, the Bharatiya Engineering, Science and Technology University, which we founded in the year 2018. And it's a relatively new university, but we are alive to the fact that innovation, it's an innovation university, the first innovation university of India. We are aware that innovation not only means staying ahead, but also staying relevant and sustainable in a dynamic global environment. That's what we stand for. We would like to create a world-class social impact conglomerate where learning is accessible for students, affordable to students, where innovators are groomed and their ideas are incubated. Now, the three pillars of the Best Innovation University has always been conservation, innovation, and collaboration. We are dedicated to make this country, India, a knowledge hub of the world by contributing through our intellectual partner, World Forum for Education. A little bit about World Forum for Education. We work across continents, borders, and countries with knowledge givers in the informal structure. We also work with organizations, we work with professionals and passionate individuals who are knowledge givers, who have diverse social economic backgrounds. Our strength comes from the quality of work, the recognition and support of our people, our members and the institutions from across the globe. We wish to do everything that is possible within our means to spread positivity and knowledge through innovation, through individuals, through institutions, and through like-minded societies. We are happy that our partners in India include Indic Academy, Heritage, Apna Desh International, and the global partnerships. Besides all the university partnerships that we have, it's with World Women Leading Change, the founder of which is present here today, Dr. Ayla Al-Jofre. It's a congregation of about 3 million women leaders from across the globe. It celebrates women and youth in all its endeavors and projects. We believe that in World Forum for Education, that education is much more than transmission of knowledge in a formal structure. We believe that we need to integrate organizations, and we have to cover knowledge coming in from all levels, whether it's coming from an innovator, whether it's coming from an individual knowledge giver, creator, a resource person, an artist, which must receive a platform for showcase and credit. The only condition being that this knowledge makes a meaningful change to the society, contributes and translates its innovation and knowledge with a social and economic value. World Forum for Education with Best Innovation University have created this wonderful chain of webinars since the month of March with our global partners, World Women Leading Change, and with our partners from across the globe. These seminars, ideally part 1 to part 10, were about adoption of technology in education. The part 2 series is about agriculture and innovation, agricultural technology and global food security. Now, let me give you a feedback on what we stand for. Agriculture and allied sectors in India, they contribute to about $368 billion to the economy. 16% of share in India's GDP. Nearly everyone working on future of modern agriculture focuses on efficiency. Now, I'm sure that a wide range of technologies will enable the transition of modern agriculture in the field. But some technologies need to be developed specifically for agriculture, while we have several that are already available and that could be adapted in the modern agriculture. Smart farming tools such as autonomous vehicles, we have artificial intelligence, we have machine vision, we have a whole lot of structures that are currently available that can be easily adapted into education, into agriculture. If modern agriculture is applied widely in the near future, I think millions of farmers will be able to benefit from the acquisition of real-time farm innovation. But at this juncture, I believe that it is really difficult to predict the future of technology in agriculture, although there are several promising trends and pilot projects. In India, I'll give you statistics of, there are about 3,116 startups registered in the food and agricultural sector past 5 years. There has been a 25 to 30% growth in the number of startups in the annual basis, and with an approximate of $500 billion investment since 2014. By the year 2050, the annual food grain production in India would need to grow by 333 million tons. Now, just to give you a few global statistics, doing this by reducing the negative environmental impact is one of the greatest challenges that we face today. The humanity faces today, actually. We need to move towards a sustainable global food system. It is going to become more and more difficult as global population increases. I think it's about 9 billion globally, the people that we will have to feed with richer diets, and that will require us to almost double the amount of crops that we grow by 2050. So this indicates that innovation and technology is inevitable for future, while we also ensure that we take care of Mother Earth. Because as we all know who are here, because you're all agricultural scientists, agriculture poses the most dangerous environmental hazards. Farming is the thirstiest user of our precious water, and also the major pollution comes in from the runoff of fertilizers and manure, disrupts fragile lakes, rivers, etc. Well, agriculture also accelerates the loss of biodiversity, which we are aware of, and we want to come in or to talk about Mother Earth and conservation from August 12th as a part of our Environment and Earth series. We will speak about water, we will speak about soil, we will speak about renewable energy, and we'll speak about everything that relates to the conservation and the mechanisms by which we also have on one hand 9 billion mouths to feed by 2050, but also that we conserve our environment and Mother Earth, which provides us food. So we will reach out to you for the environment series. So I think the way forward is it's time to seek right partnerships. It's important to have such dialogues, call in experts such as you who are at the helm of affairs and who are in a position to take decisions that add value through innovations. I think these are shared goals that we all need to achieve together. It needs combined efforts. We need to bridges. We need to build bridges between stakeholders, institutions, and organizations. And success largely depends upon quick growth in marketing and trade, because that's what farmers really envision and look for. A successful future growth strategy for agriculture is to pursue it as a business enterprise, which will involve constant innovation and catering to the dynamic market demand. Technology will definitely continue to play an important role, and while the dynamics of the agricultural sector keeps changing and poses new food challenges in front of us. Without wasting any more of your time, I know that you're all eager to listen to our esteemed panel of speakers today. I thought I should set a tone to the whole event, and I would now like to call upon the moderator of the webinar, Dr. D.L. Maheshwar. He is the ex-Vice Chancellor of the Horticultural and University of Horticultural Sciences of Bagalkot. He is the current Vice Chancellor of our university, Bharat Engineering, Science and Technology Innovation University. So over to you, Dr. D.L. Maheshwar, for the webinar.
Thank you, madam. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
At the outset, our Chancellor, Dr. Rupa Vasudevan, madam, has given a foresight about the statistical and factual situation of the agriculture in India and in the globe in general. At the outset, she has also, informed as to what is the agricultural technological advances have been taken place towards food security and nutrition part of it. Besides, her commitments to the university for collaboration, innovation, and conservation have been aptly, required in the present perspective, and well, to her advice and to her vision, today we are in the 15th series of our webinar, which is focused on importance of the agricultural technologies contributing towards the food security and malnutrition addressing. So in this regard, today the galaxy of our 6 experts, they are into the field of, say, water resources management, they are into the field of watershed management, they are into the geo-information specialist, and also the plant protection experts are there. Besides, we have aquaculture expert and food security advisor. Now, on behalf of the, the organizing and the impact of the advanced geographical information system towards the watershed management, then the low risk and low cost plant protection technologies to enable quality food production, and finally we should know as to what are the prospects and measures for the food security interventions in days to come. So with these few of our expectations and few of our updating the understanding, we are here with the experts today, and we will start the the webinar, virtual webinar, wherein each speaker will be allotted a time slot of 10 minutes, and by the end of 9th minute, I'll be calling on the 9th minute as last 1 minute for the time off, and then I request all the viewers to see to that they should switch off their microphones and also the camera without any disturbance. So now may I call upon the first speaker, that is Dr. Bimal Mohante. Dr. Bimal Mohante presently is the Assistant Director General of ICR and is heading the inland fisheries. Basically, he is an agricultural research scientist and who has occupied the position of principal scientist and head of the division in ICR CIFRI Barakpur, and later he has joined as Assistant Director General of Inland Fisheries. And he has received a lot of appreciation from World Bank for his NutriFish iron database, and is also a gold medalist from NORM Hyderabad, Zoological Society of India, and International Society of Ecological Communication. He has published several international publications and presently is the chief editor of the Journal of Inland Fisheries and Society. He was, with the experience of his inland fisheries and aquaculture, I'm sure that the food production, basically from the marine wealth, is going to support the food security. Maybe in that context, we look upon for the address of Dr. Bimal Mohante. Mohante, please take on.
Very good morning to all of you. I think my voice is clear.
Yeah.
A warm welcome once again, and I would like to thank the esteemed Chancellor, Madam, all the panelists, all the organizers, participants, and especially the Senior Advisor, Dr. Manmohan Singh, and all of you for inviting me for this talk. So I welcome on behalf of the Indian Council of Agricultural Research, because it is some very important area in which we are focused. Food and nutritional security as well as livelihood security. These are very, very vital sectors, and we are focused on it. And I'm happy that I got this opportunity to share some of our experiences with you. I will start with some. Because time limit is there, so I will be trying to quick to the role of food and nutritional security. That is something vital, and I will start with what is food. Your food is your medicine. So it was said Hippocrates, the Greek physician, who is credited as the father of modern medicine. Let food be thy medicine. So food is nothing but our medicine. The medicine we are taking, if we are taking proper food and proper nutrients, there is no need for medicine. And then when we talk of food, then the issue of food security comes. What exactly food security? The FO definition says it is a situation that exists when all people at all times have physical, social, and economic access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food that meets their dietary needs and food preferences. For what? For an active and healthy life. That means you see 4 different dimensions: food level, economic and physical access to food should be there, food utilization, and stability over time. In simple terms, food security, it is availability of food and individual's ability to get it. Then when we talk of food, then comes the hunger and malnutrition. When it is chronic undernourishment, then the situation is called hunger. It has different dimensions. And what is malnutrition? It is an abnormal physiological condition caused by inadequate, unbalanced, or excessive consumption. That means it may be undernutrition, it may be overnutrition. As you see nowadays, obesity is a big problem. Then micronutrient deficiency. And as I said, this hunger and malnutrition, they have different dimensions. What are the major things? First is protein hunger, calorie hunger, and the hidden hunger. Why hidden hunger it is called, I will come to that later. It is a micronutrient deficiency. If you see this figure I am showing, it is maybe some African country, but India also will have places, such situations are there. It is called kwashiorkor. It is a chronic protein deficiency situation. Protein intake is very inadequate, especially after weaning. When the breastfeeding stops, after that, if you are not supplementing proper food and protein insufficiency, kwashiorkor is a situation. Similarly, calorie, energy deficiency, it leads to marasmus. And most of the time, you will find that protein and calorie hunger, they occur together. Protein calorie malnutrition or protein energy malnutrition. Then coming to hidden hunger, what is hidden hunger? This is a situation, it is a micronutrient deficiency. Micronutrients means vitamins and minerals. Here you don't really get, it doesn't produce hunger. You won't feel hunger, but your body is hungry because it is affecting the core of your health and vitality. All metabolic processes are disturbed. Why this micronutrient deficiency? It is mainly because of unavailability of micronutrients, or maybe sometimes unaffordability, and it will mostly again lack of awareness. We do not know, people do not know. So in this context, where fish comes, why fish? So fish as a tool for fighting 3 dimensions of hunger. We are seeing in that way. So it is one of the important human diets for time machines, time immemorial. It is one of the best.
Sorry to
yes. Yeah.
So your PPT is not visible.
Not visible?
If you make on the right side of the screen, then start sharing.
Not coming.
We are unable to see, sir.
I see. Because I am seeing from beginning, that's why how to make it then.
So in the Google Meet, where the video conferencing where you are live, on the bottom right hand side corner, there is an option called present now.
Yeah, share is there. I started from sharing. Once only.
You click on present now.
Present now. Slide, it is showing slide show.
For the interruption, everybody.
No. That is not a problem, but I thought you are saying that's why.
Right.
You नहीं दिखा रहे हैं? हाँ?
But इससे कर दो तो नहीं मैं
Minimize. So I think the other slide should stop because it is visible. Maybe that's why it is not coming. This slide is seen on the screen.
No, not like that, sir. So your video conferencing app, if you are you open? Have you opened the Google Meet where you can see all of us?
Yeah. That should stop. Then
on the right side, on the right side of the screen, bottom corner, you see present now. If you may click on that.
Shazil, I think, yeah.
Should I continue without that or?
Yeah, better you switch off your camera so that we will have seamless bandwidth. You know, you can, it will be better to hear you. You're off and on right now, your voice. If you switch off your camera, maybe you can continue speaking and we will be able to hear you better.
Okay.
Now please proceed.
Yeah.
Yes, you can go ahead, sir.
So, yeah. So as I said, this hidden hunger is some situation where there is the micronutrient deficiency. So the body is serving for the micronutrients regime, all these processes are affected in that. As you know, the vitamins and minerals so essential, they take part in all the processes need that. And I will stop exactly why fish as a tool for fighting 3 dimensions of hunger. Fish is one of the best sources of quality animal proteins. So when I say quality animal proteins, means essential, non-essential amino acid ratio is very good. We have a lot of essential amino acids that rich in micronutrients, especially the small fishes, small indigenous species, rich in micronutrients. Then fish oil. Fish oil, it is something very vital. It is rich in special marine fishes. They rich in omega-3 polyunsaturated fatty acids. They are heart friendly and brain friendly. For the brain, this DHA is so important. You know, the DHA Horlicks, it is being marketed, Junior Horlicks containing DHA, that is added to that. Similarly, EPA. These are the polyunsaturated fatty acids that are so important for the heart and brain. Then a resource of antioxidants. And if you see, fish is a resource of all nutrients except carbohydrates. You have all the nutrients in fish. That means if you are taking rice and fish, rice is providing carbohydrates, all other things we are getting from the fish. And the most important thing I will underline, it is availability and affordability is better for fish in comparison to other sources of animal proteins. If you say they have a fixed price, chicken, mutton, pork, beef, whatever we say. However, fish is, it is a wide choice. It is a big basket. We have wide varieties of fish available. Something maybe kg 50 to 60 rupees. It may be Padma hillside, maybe sometimes 2000 rupees per kg. Sometimes 500 rupees big this katla and the cars. Sometimes 200. So price varies from say 50 rupees to 1000 rupees per kg. A common man, talking about the common man, 65 to 7% of the people who are farming and depending, underprivileged. So they can afford to have a choice. They have a choice, so they can feed their family with this source of protein. So that is so important. Proteins are very important, starting from our body built up, the musculoskeletal system, to everything. Protein has a lot of role. And if we are today this COVID-19, it is because of our immunity. The immunoglobulins are nothing but proteins, signaling molecules. So protein is something very vital. That's why the government of India is running that national mission on protein supplement to see that protein hunger. Many of the constituent of the proteins, a lot of amino acids. Amino acids have several hormones, they are hormones, precursor to hemoglobin, means our formation of RBC, and several other things are there, and there are several metabolites. Similarly, fish oils, they are very important for all stages of life, adult, elderly people, and the pediatric population. For keeping coronary heart disease away, fish oil is very important. For this forgetfulness, age-related macular degeneration, mood disorders. For all such things, fish has a very preventive role. Similarly, childhood asthma.
Last 1 minute, please.
Yeah. Because in and best use. What I have said, so you will have the food varies from oil, varies from 0.7 to 10%. 10% in Hilsa, second 10%. They are in their micronutrient dense contain nutrients. And all these things protein rich, which are oil rich, which are micronutrient rich. Then actually whatever I'm telling is a project 2008 to 18, 7 institutes actually. We have studied more than 100 food pieces, and we have generated information which is rich in calcium, which is in manganese, which is in zinc, then which is in vitamin A, which is D, vitamin E. Like that, we have studied all. NutriSmart species. They are and all these things is available. Whatever I am discussing, it is in database NutriFish in. NutriFish in stands for NutriFish India. So you can just Google NutriFish in. As a excellent and visionary R&D platform could be explored to government to across the world. It can be shared globally. Develop a mobile app. It is a NutriFish app. These are the technologies. The database is the technology. This mobile technology, NutriFish app. Once you go to NutriFish app, several farmers come for training. We tell them that say Bihar, Odisha, Chhattisgarh, many farmers come when I in Barakpur. And then we tell them you start your mobile, try to have this app, download from the Google Play Store and see. So they have access. So slowly they enter to the database through this app and they get all the valuable information. Then we have developed a built-in knowledge base in it. What is that knowledge base? That knowledge base gives you more than 100 food pieces. Their figure, fish photo, fish name, what is the composition of that, and for which a physician can recommend this fish. For what purpose? Whether for zinc, whether for polyunsaturated fatty acids, and all such things. It is available, and presently it contains more than 70, but we have data. When it is published, we are operating. It is a continuously updated thing. And the most important is all the information we have documented in the form of at least 8 to 10 different bulletins. I'm sorry, I'm not able to show you here. And folders, all things are available. And if you want to the database, all these things are freely downloadable. You can completely download. Like suppose one bulletin I will say particularly, it is on therapeutic value of fish. It is in Assamese, it is in Kannada, some professor, he volunteered, he wanted to translate it, it is in Hindi. So it can be in different language, take advantage of it. Similarly, we have documents on marine fish, cold water fish, all these things are available. And through that accessing database. And finally, I want to say that the World Bank, when they noticed, they also started a program like our NutriFish India. They started NutriFish 1000. 2018 World Food Day, they have started this program where that NutriFish 1000, they discussed with us and World Bank group, they have started. Where their objective is, they want to, like we have studied on more than 100, they want to study more than 1000 food nutrient profile of food fishes. And additionally, they want to see to guarantee the nutritional security for the first 1000 days of life. So one of our recent studies that came in food chemistry, it was published. Elsevier, globally they selected 7 best papers for the World Food Day 2018, where they shared some of our our paper statements. So they mentioned that ICR C3 Barakpur, Government of India, they have developed a database like this, which is a nutrient-rich thing, they said. NutriFish in also they highlighted. And see the aquaculture, which is one of the fastest growing food production sector. It can play a big role in eradicating hunger, malnutrition, and nutrition deficiency globally. It has similar such things are there. There is something called InFoods, International Network of Food Databases. It is by the FO. Our country was lacking, we have that information. So the planners can also see what are the species which should be promoted, which are the species we should take into aquaculture. And the last thing we should say, if we are going to fight the low bath weight and stunted growth, that is a very common in South Asian countries and it is in India. Low bath weight means at the time of bath, 2.5 kg below weight, stunted growth. These are problems. And it is studies have shown that these fishermen, common marine fish consuming population, low bath weight is less prevalent in comparison to the freshwater fish consuming population. So for maternal and child health, challenging all these things. Yeah, just last minute. Please. Yeah, well, last minute, sir. So please. Not only this fighting in nutrition security, livelihood security, as well as this, as I said, the technologies, because it is innovation, NutriFish and database, please go through it. And you will get all that. It is you can say it is a vocal for local, our product, our species, how it is reached, we can highlight it. And thank you all for the patient hearing. I thank the ICR and all the 7 fisheries institute which participated and generated this knowledge. Thank you very much. And I'm sorry that PowerPoint I could not show you. Thank you.
Thank you, Maheshwar, for your very, very enlightened address about the protein hunger being supported with aquaculture support. And I'm sure that over a period of time, the 6% requirement of the protein in days to come will be from the fisheries side. Thank you very much, Mahante, for your address and presentation. Now we'll move on to the
I guess today is the day of interruptions and disruptions, technology disruptions. PC, we lost you. Can you please repeat?
Yes, madam. Can you hear, madam?
Yes, I hear you. Please continue.
Yeah. Madam, we have Dr. Suhas P. Wani. He's a former director of ICRISAT and the current international consultant for the Asian Development Bank. And the credit of Dr. Wani goes with, he is one among the 50 most important, impactful leaders in water and water management. That is his credibility and that is his contribution to the globe. And he has served in International Rice Research Station, and he was the director of ICRISAT Development Center, and he has created the new program known as Bochetna in Karnataka, and it has helped nearly more than about 4.75 million. And Dr. Wani is reputed for his contribution in the field of watershed management. I'm sure that the technologies that has been promulgated for the watershed promotion will be addressed by Dr. Suhas P. Wani. Yes, Dr. Suhas P. Wani, please take over.
Thank you. Are you able to see my presentation? Hello?
Yes, sir. No, sir.
Now?
Yes, started.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Maheshwar. Honorable Chair of the University, Mr. Meena ji, Senior Advisor, Mr. Manmohan Singh ji, Chancellor, Dr. Deepa, Vice Chancellor, other panelists and friends. I will be presenting basically the sustainable water management and what are our challenges and what are the opportunities we have. So if we look into the why we need to do the water management, particularly when country like India, which receives 250 millimeter average rainfall annually. But still, if we see on the right side, you will find in number of newspapers, in number of places that water scarcity is rampant. And particularly in India, with 1250 millimeter average rainfall, we should not have any difficulty for water as such. However, we have the water scarcity, and by 2025, 1/3 of India will have physical scarcity of water. We will have the money, but we may not have the water with us. The rainfall in the country varies from 166 millimeter at Jaisalmer in Rajasthan to 11,873 millimeter at Mausinram in Mizoram. And our water resources are basically 1,869 billion cubic meters per year availability, out of which usable water is 1,123 billion cubic meter, and surface water is 690 billion cubic meter, and groundwater is 433 billion cubic meter. But if you look at the water availability per capita in the country, because water is a finite resource, We cannot increase it. Whatever we get from the rainfall, 1250 millimeter, or for the precipitation, like snowfall and other things, that is a fixed thing, whatever is the number of population we may have. So with the growing population, from 1951, our per capita water availability in 1951 was about 5,170 cubic meter per year. Finally, it has come down to almost 1,700, 1,500 cubic meter per capita per year now. And very soon, we will have the scarcity limit of below 1,500, and that's our challenge. The major thing what we need to look into that, as the picture on the right side bottom shows, that in many places this sort of picture or scene is available in the months from February onwards as such. If we look into our scenario, our vegetarian population is decreasing and non-vegetarian population is increasing because of the growing incomes, and somehow our mindset is that once you have the income, you should shift to the animal-based food. And that's where basically one need to take into account that how we are going to manage our water requirement for the agriculture, which draws almost 80 to 90% of water, as you are seeing on the left side. This is the data from the FAO for India, that irrigation and livestock consumes 91% of water, and our industry is hardly 2% and domestic use is 7%. With this sort of population increasing, by 2025, we will be almost having 1.4 billion population, and by 2050 it will be 1.75 billion. But the percentage of vegetarian population will decrease to 40% from the 60%. And for each of the vegetarian diet for the person per day, we need about 4,500 liters of water. Whereas for non-vegetarian diet, we need 15,000 liters per day per person. And that is the challenge what we have to really look at that. And if this non-vegetarian population goes on increasing, our total water requirement will increase from 3,650 billion cubic meter to 6,900 billion cubic meter. And that is a challenge which we have to see, as Dr. Rupa was indicating, that our food production has to double. With the scarce water resource, declining water availability, declining land per capita, challenge is how we are going to be self-sufficient. How we can manage the water sustainably? Water management has to become the business of everyone. At the moment, from the childhood, we are taught that pani jaisa paisa bahare ho. That means water has no value, but money has the value. And I am sure very soon this proverb will be turned around and people will have to say, paise jaisa pani bahare ho. And that's where water management has to become everyone's business. It's a finite resource and there is no other option than managing the scarce resource. If your income is fixed, you have to manage your family expenses appropriately. Same thing happens for the water at the country level. Consumptive use of water is large in agriculture, anywhere from 80 to 90%. But at the same time, food security is important and can be managed, provided we change our mindset for managing the water, our food habits, and the way we are treating our food at the moment. Almost 35% of the food what we produce is wasted. With increasing incomes, food choices are changing as we discussed. And what we need to do for managing the water sustainably, we need to really identify the champions for the integrated water resource management. Integrated water resource management, what I mean is that the rainfall, the groundwater, the surface water, as well as the wastewater, we need to manage in an integrated fashion so that we avoid this compartmentalization of the water management. And for that reason, Government of India has created a new ministry, Jal Shakti, which basically addresses water, drinking water, as well as the water use efficiency and small irrigation schemes, and as well as the drip and other systems for enhancing the water use efficiency. So we need to have the champions. That means it has to become a public movement. The government of Maharashtra had started Jalayukta Shivar. There was a program in Andhra Pradesh, Niru Miru. There was a program in Rajasthan, Pani Bachao. And every state has like these programs, but not much of the partnership or not much of the involvement by the community as such. And as we know that most of the community development programs since freedom of country have failed largely because of poor participation by the community, and the democratic institutions are not involved in the management of the programs. So we need to have the water stewardship developed through decentralized water management at panchayat level, as well as involve the farmers through the farmer producer organizations. It has to become the people's movement with active participation. We need to strengthen the integrated watershed catchment management approach because large dams era has gone. We have done already the harvesting in the big dams, whatever was ecologically and environmentally, economically feasible. Now it's pretty difficult. Yeah. And we will have to, awareness building is critical amongst the farmers as well as the educated illiterates, because education is different and literacy is different. And most of us are literate, but we are not much educated per se in terms of the water management. More importantly, what gets measured gets delivered, and Government of India has started basically the scheme to do the state level performance on water resources management. And in non-Himalayan states, Gujarat is the top one with 76 points. And of course, Jharkhand is the lowest one with 35 points. And that's where basically the measurement has started. We need to start with in-situ water conservation of rainwater through various landform treatments, minimizing the evaporation losses through mulching, plastic mulch, organic mulch, as well as the cultivation as such. Then harvest the extra water, whatever is there, after storing into the soil through the rainwater harvesting structures, recharging the defunct wells, recharging the defunct bore wells, and that way we can recharge the groundwater instead of getting into the things. Efficient use of green, blue, and grey water is must through the appropriate soil health management, using the improved cultivars, markets, institutions, and policy support, as well as need for integrated pest management. We need to really follow the need-based irrigation scheduling rather than the calendar-based, and use of IT technologies using the soil information as well as the crop growth. We can advise the farmers when to irrigate, how much time the engine or the motor should be run for irrigating 1 acre of field. And that way, then the water saving can be achieved almost 25 to 30%.
Thank you.
We have to have the agroecology-based farming so that we don't grow the water guzzling crops everywhere. And that's where basically we need to adopt, as Madam was indicating at the beginning, 4 I6 approach to manage the water sustainably. It has to be an integrated approach for water resource management. It should be inclusive of all stakeholders. It should be impact oriented, and innovation must be the part of the water management. It has to be through consortium by building the partnerships, bringing the convergence of water sector schemes and policies instead of compartmental approach, cooperation of all stakeholders through collectivization, and efficiency should be the cornerstone of water management.
Yes.
Environment protection was highlighted in the beginning, economic gain and equity, but most importantly, it should be simple, scalable, socially acceptable, and sustainable. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your very attractive, impressive illustrations, and you could able to drive us on this water management, not as a business, but as an integrated part of it. Thanks for enlightening us about the governmental schemes also that we should follow in days to come. Thank you, Dr. Suhaswani, for your time and address. Thank you very much. Yeah, now we will move on to the next speaker is Dr. Natarajan. Dr. Natarajan is presently a natural resources management consultant of the World Bank project known as REWARD program. And he is basically a agricultural research scientist, ARS, and he served as a principal scientist in the National Bureau of Soil Survey and Land Use Planning in Bangalore. And he has worked intensively with the World Bank Sujala project in Karnataka, and he has brought out several new modulations, especially with the GIS application. We are fortunate to have him to appraise on this new technology. He has several contributions in terms of articles, in terms of participation, and he has traveled widely about the practical issues pertaining to several states. Now, may I request Dr. Natarajan to take over, please.
Thank you, Dr. Maheshwar. Good afternoon to all of you. I must thank the Chairman, Chancellor, Vice Chancellor, and the organizers for this wonderful web seminar. And as the time constraint, I'm not having any PowerPoint presentation. I'll be taking you the contour of what is now the trend in use of IT platform for reaching the farmers and planners to address the issues at the farmers level. This broadly the type of interventions which is being planned in Karnataka and is being upscaled in other parts of the country now. As Dr. Maheshwar has pointed out, we know very well in our country the land degradation is a big issue, and there are many interventions by agriculture, horticulture, rural development. There are multiple ministries which are trying to intervene. And for your kind information, in only the watershed department in the country has spent more than 50,000 crores on integrated watershed management. But looking back into all this, the impact of all these are very modest. Let's agree to that. The main reason, as Dr. Suhaswani has clearly pointed out, the main reason is there is a mismatch between the real ground situation and the interventions we plan and implement at farmers level. This is a huge mismatch. And unless we know what we are dealing, we know very well, everyone knows very well, the farmers' fields are not uniform, the watersheds are not uniform. Across the fields and watersheds, there are variability in soil, water availability, weather, climate, land use, so many parameters. So these things, unless they are integratedly addressed, we have the technology, but where these resources are captured and made available to the planners and farmers in the form of inputs, outputs, and advisories. These are the lacking. So what is tried in Karnataka and elsewhere, which is being replicated, is with the technology available today. Today we have very good, wonderful remote sensing technology. We can see this even smallest patches, including the surface moisture. There are models which get surface subsoil moisture also. There are many technologies available. Bring them to the farm level, bring them to the field level. So what is necessary is bring these resources of the soil, site, crops and weather, which is a dynamic one, all this in one place and make them through web and to mobile, which are the real IoT things which are happening, and that be the win-win situation. That's what is tried, and our Meena ji is here. He was our secretary when we initiated this project in Karnataka. Today, we are in a happy position to say about 14 lakh hectares in Karnataka, we have a system, what we call digital library, what we call portal, what we call mobile applications, wherein each and every parcel land resource information, soil, site, water, weather, I'm talking about the real-time information outputs, which are being delivered to the farmers on real-time basis, to the planners on a real-time basis to make that plan. And Dr. Maheshwar was earlier in watershed program. They used to take 7 years, out of which 3 years they used to spend in making a plan. Today, the plan comes out because the system churns out the plan in no time. You just go into the system, digital library, wherein all these information is available. You click or select a watershed or a survey number. right? So it tells you in an interactive way, if you want to know only what is the type of conservation, you get it. Or what should people wants a plan, conservation plan, it gives out in no time. If they want to have a crop choice, it gives out what is the best suited crop for that farm or the watershed. It options of 6, 7, and again with limitations. What is the problem? How to overcome packager practices, which are there already. So all these are brought to the finer scale at the field level, at the cadastral level, which is now made available through the internet, web services, and then mobile applications. For a farmer's perspective, he can just with his mobile phone, he can just click his survey number. He gets, as per the menu which comes in front of him, he can say whether I can sow the crop this week. So it draws the real-time weather data, it draws complete soil, site, and the landform, crop of that his farm, and links it. In no time, he says, wait, your soil moisture is not sufficient to take up sowing today. Wait for that. And the prediction says another 2 days or 1 week, you're likely to get. So this is a sort of interventions and advisories which is going in a very, it's not that theoretical. It is really happening, and it's a wonderful thing which is achieved. And the other way is, he can suppose he wants to know where, how much is the nutrient he wants. So again, with the crop, what is the best crop? And based on the crop, and based on the duration of the stage of the crop, what is the best nutrient combination, when to be applied? He gets it. He gets that. And for, there are many now startups, as Madam was telling. If they want to know like Reliance or anyone wants to know the clusters of an area where they can go for, procuring a particular type of a produce, yes, it gives out as a geographically. These are the areas where there is a potential for taking up a particular crop, or where it's already grown, you can source it. So it's starting from the planner to the farmer, to the startups, to the commercial entities. It's an open thing for everyone. They can get through the web, this link it, and they can get these outputs. And this has, yes, sir, I'll be coming. This has reduced, for an example, say watershed cycle used to take 7 years, now 4 years. It's a huge saving, and farmer gets real time. Yes, he's empowered. And these things makes the real our agriculture and farmers is made to be empowered. They are really empowered, and they know what's the scheme going on, what's the input there, and they can really ask, and there can be no escape for the department, and they become the winner really ultimately, and leads to a real climate smart agriculture. I think I can stop with this. Thank you so much for sparing your time. Please.
Thank you. Thank you. It's our pleasure to have Dr. Natarajan, who enlightened about the remote sensing applications for the farming activity. I'm sure that the World Bank program under reward, which was also earlier called Sujala during the period of our Additional Chief Secretary, Mr. Bharat Meena, now it is going to take a grounding at the field level, which is very heartening to note. I'm sure that this particular information goes a long way into our farmer members, farmer community to adopt this technology. Thank you, Dr. Natarajan, for enlightening us on that. Now we'll move on to Dr.
Thank you, sir.
Next speaker is Dr. Vittal Benegi. Dr. Benegi is the former Vice Chancellor of the Agriculture University, Dharwad, and he was also the head of the Director of Education at Dharwad University. And he has also served extensively as Director of the Extension in the department's collaboration in popularizing the so many technologies, and amongst the one is the gobar gas, is the one which is been highlighted with Dr. Benegi. And he has worked in banks. He has also served in the research administration, and he is the fellow member of the Indian Phytopathological Society of Delhi, and he has been awarded by Karnataka Pradesh Physics Samaj as Best Scientist and honored by Rotary Club of Hubli as the Best Agriculture Scientist. So for all these rewards and awards, he totally justifies. I'm proud to introduce Dr. Benegi in this particular webinar. Yes, Dr. Benegi, please take over.
Hello, sir. Good morning, sir. Can you be able to hear my voice, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Respected Chairman, Chancellor, Vice Chancellor of Best Innovation University, and experts and dear participants. here I would like to show some of the slides related to the role of the plant protection in food security. First slide. Slide. So food security will exist. Food security will exist when all the people all the time have a physical, social, and economic access to the sufficient, safe, and nutritious food which meets their dietary needs and food preference for an active and healthy life. So the global food security components are, as you already know, in the many of the previous webinars, food utilizations, food access, and food availability. And coming to the global food security index, this is the figure of the world, the state of the global food security. Whatever India's chance is 72nd rank when compared to the other countries. You can see the map. The map will clearly indicate of the global food security index. And regarding plants, the total plants, 80% of the human diets are met by our plants. They are very essential for our food security, our ongoing access to the sufficient, affordable, safe, and nutritious foods for all of us to live active and healthy lives. Here, the plant pests and diseases, they will pose a major threatening to the food security because they can damage the crop, thus reducing the availability and also to access to the food, increasing the cost of the food. Plant pests and diseases may also negatively affect the palatability of the food, resulting in changes to the traditional food preference of the populations. So the status of the food security, that is the balance between the growing food demands of the world population and global agricultural output, combined with discrepancies between the supply and demand at the regional, national, and local levels is alarming. This imbalance is not new, but has dramatically worsened during the recent decades. Here, the plant protection plays very important role in general. The protection of the crops against the plant diseases, the insects in particular, have a major role in meeting the growing demands of the food quality and quantity. So, totally on an average, about 20 to 40% of the global agricultural productivity is lost because of this pest and diseases. These crop losses, pests and pathogens are direct as well as indirect. They have number of facets. Some are short and others are long-term consequences. The price loss between 20 to 40% therefore inadequately reflects the true costs of the crop losses to the consumer, public health, societies, environment, and economic fabrics and farmers. So the components of the food security, which they are includes the food availability, the physical and economic access of the food and food utilizations has been revived by the income. So although the crop losses caused by the plant disease directly affect the first phase of these components, they also affect the other, that is food utilization component, either directly or indirectly. The most of the agriculture research conducted in the 20th century, they are only focused on increasing the crop productivity as the world populations, as its food needs grew. The plant protection is then primarily focused on the protecting the crops from the yield losses due to the biological and non-biological causes. Let us see some of the outbreaks. The late blight of potato, which caused by the Phytophthora infestans, destroyed the potatoes, which were the main crop of the Ireland in the year 1945 to up to 1850. That has resulted the Great Famine. That is Irish famine. Nearly about 1 million people died, and another 1 million people migrated to the Canada and USA and other countries. And in our India, there was a Bengal famine, that outbreak of rice brown spot fungus that has destroyed about 90% of the crop losses, which resulted in the 2 million people died because of the famine. And some of the new plant pests and diseases are outbreaking. These are some of the examples. potentially threatens the staple food around the world. To cite an example is, this is Colorado potato beetle that has affected the food security in case of China. About 3.2 million US dollars has been estimated loss. This is not only pest on that crop, also that will affect on tomatoes and brinjal. And coming to the red palm weevil, that is also affects on the date palm, which is important food security in the oasis ecosystem in Near East and Mediterranean bases. About the recently there is a sperling which has a high reproductive and dispersal rate, and this is very severe in banana, fruit crops and vegetables and other ornamental crops. This will secrete the honeydews and that will encourage the sooty mode. So therefore there will be no any further photosynthetic activity which directly affect the yield. Coming to the fruit fly, this is one of the major component in case of Asian crops. It had been seen in about 65 countries. In African regions, it was detected in 2003, and now it is a very important pest that will also affect the exports, particularly avocado, banana, guava, and mango. It is thought that the import trade ban to the region alone are causing about 2 billion USD dollars losses annually. Coming to the banana skippers, this is recently seen in our India. About 50%, as per the research, 50% defoliation at the fruiting stage that leads to the 30% loss in the fruit yield. Coming to some of the pathogens, rust, it is another example of the disease that threatens the several crops, including the wheat, which is known to be one of the 3 most important crops in the world. The plant disease continue to be a challenge to the crop productions in the different countries, not only through the reduction of the crop yield, but also indeed through the reduction of the fruit quality and nutritional value. And coming to the microtuction, this is playing an important role which has a direct effect on the human and animals, resulting in the disease and death. Example of fungal species producing mycotoxins include Aspergillus flavus, Fusarium species, Penicillium species. There are several groups of the mycotoxins under which several types are included. The most important, the serious groups are B1 toxin, B2, G1 and G2. They are all produced by the Aspergillus species, and among that, the one of the most important microtoxins because it is lethal at higher doses and carcinogenic to the human being at lower doses. That can result in the reduced liver function, vomiting and abdominal pain. And totally it has been reported 250,000 deaths annually because of these aflatoxins. These mycotoxins found in the several products, especially in peanut, the pistas and maize. Infection of these products leads to the lot of problems, not only for human being, also for the animals. Ergot is another important several disease which important in case of bread wheat that causes by the Claviceps genus. Consumption of bread produced by the contaminated flour that results in ergotism disease in case of human being. Ergotism has been reported to result in death, loss of peripheral sensation and hallucination. And serious threatening of in case of banana because of outbreak of race spore of Fusarium oxosporin pharma species cubens. In case of banana, that is a very major threatening in case of banana, since it is also devastating the impact on the food security and livelihoods. And some of the future priorities in case of food securities, more research is required on the direct effect on the plant pathogens, insects and disease on humans. Special attention should be given to the mycotoxins producing fungi and their presence in the human food. Efforts should be directed towards avoiding.
Shazil, am I audible?
Yes, sir. I am. Pest and disease epidemic similar to the late bite disease of potato in case of Ireland through the food diversification and development of disease management studies, awareness of the community about the ways.
Last minute, Dr. Benigi Saab, last 1 minute, please.
Last slide, sir. Which plant disease insects can affect human health also important. And there is a need of integrated farm management, including ICM, IPM, IDM, etc. This concept has to be given more of the importance. And the major concern is the pesticides free or pesticides residue free of the food. That is one of the major important aspects. So this is last slide, sir. Thank you very much for your kind hearing. Thank you for giving me an opportunity, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Bangi Saab, for appraising about the historical crisis occurred with diseases and pests, and also the recent likely things happening with some of the major crops like wheat and banana. And I'm sure that this particular message will be communicated to the farming section to be alert and to protect their volume of food production and quality. Thank you very much, Dr. Bangi Saab.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. With this, now we will move on to the another speaker, who is Dr. Lamalini Gaivenia. Lamalini Gaivenia is a international development consultant. She is the international development consultant with Agriculture and Food Security South Africa, and she is currently serving as a lecturer at the University of Free State, South Africa.
There is echo. We cannot hear you properly. Shazil, is there an echo? There is an echo coming.
Yes, ma'am.
Shazil.
Hello, madam. Now it's clear.
Production. I think production issues during the presentation.
Ladies and gentlemen, okay, I think I'm going to stop, my presentation because it's giving me a challenge. But I don't know, are you able to see my presentation?
Yes, we are able to see your presentation. You can actually show it to us. But I think the Vice Chancellor will first introduce you to everyone.
Okay, give me an indication when you want me to start.
Sure.
Okay.
We have resolved the issue.
No, it's still there.
Okay.
Dr. D.L. Maheshwar.
Yes, madam.
Continue with the introduction.
Yeah. And Himalini Negvia has served more than about 25 years in international experience on education and agriculture, food and nutrition, natural resource management, and climate change adoption. She has done assignments in over 45 countries, and she has facilitated more than 200 multi-stakeholders engagement worldwide. And she is right now handling a flagship project on new extensionist initiative of the Global Forum for Rural Advisory Services. Now, with this experience in the climate change adoption and rural food services, may I now request Dr. Lamalini Gaivenia to address us, please.
Please unmute yourself, Lami. Can you please unmute yourself, Lami? We cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Perfect.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, I will go straight to my presentation, and thank you very much for the invitation. When I was introduced, they indicated that I'm working a lot in the global space and working with different people. It is for that reason that I'm going to title my presentation today, Perfect Opportunities for Agriculture Technologies Towards Global Food Security. Why the concept of perfect? I've been working in the agricultural sector for more than 20 years now globally, and I'm working with different stakeholders. And every time I engage, I see a lot of opportunities that, and I came up with this concept, which I'm promoting, perfect opportunities. And there are opportunities. When you see perfect is an acronym, we're talking about policies, education, research, farming and finance, extension and advisory services, communications, technologies and trade. Today, we are talking about technologies in agriculture for food security. Our colleagues already, two of our speakers have already spoken about food security. It is important for us when we talk about technologies for global food security, that understanding of what food security is becomes very critical. I'm not going to go into details because two of our colleagues have already alluded to that. The concept of food security was firstly defined by the United Nations during the World Food Summit that took place in 1996. This definition is still relevant today. All people at all times have physical, social, and economic access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food that meets their food preference and dietary needs for an active and healthy life. This is very important. And when we look at that definition and discussions, there are 4 pillars. It is about availability, it is about access, it is about utilization, it is about sustainability in this context, about stability. So the question now, it's okay. So we know that availability. Our colleagues have already alluded to that. Availability touches things around production, distribution, exchange. The land issue becomes part of that. Access is about availability. It also brings the economic aspect. How far the food is, the location and market, and it brings the economics. Utilization brings the food safety aspect. It is about the nutritional value of the food that we consume, but also the consumption, the preparation, and all that. So this tries to organize how we should understand food security. Sustainability, it's about the stability. If people have access to food for 1 week, then we say it's not sustainable. It has to happen all the time. And it's about these for all the people. So now, when we talk about perfect opportunities of agriculture technologies towards global food security, what are we talking about? What does that mean in practical terms? What it means that there are opportunity entry points at different level of the continuum. This brings that opportunity for everybody to participate in the agricultural sector. It's not only about technologies in the production, but it is technologies along, the different value chains within the agricultural system. And when we see agriculture in that sense, opportunities for technology development, it's everywhere. Hence, I call it perfect entry points for agricultural technology development and digital transformation. Coming back to our definition of food security, we see a lot of opportunities for digital or technology development in the production space, distribution, exchange, also how we work the land. There are different, technologies that we need to leverage on. And when we present this from this perfect perspective, it enables us to attract a lot of different people who, under normal circumstances, will not see their role in agriculture. When I engage with young people, you tell them agriculture, they say, I don't want to be a farmer. But sometimes they don't see these different entry points and pathways where they can actually engage and become part of, this global system. So yes, so there are opportunities for technology development in different areas in this case. Beyond the concept of food security in terms of access, availability and utilizations, there are also technology development opportunities along the perfect contortion. The policy engagement today, as we are sitting here, under normal circumstances, we should be meeting face to face, but we are taking advantage of this technology advancement. We are engaging virtually. For us to do that, some people have developed those technologies that enable us to be able to engage. Education, as we see it, we are in the COVID restrictions. Those institutions that have harnessed or have understood, that technology can actually be used for training and education are those that are surviving today. Research, also farming, we have heard about that. Extension and advisory services, there are a lot of opportunities for us to take advantage and really improve how we provide, extension services. Communications, knowledge management, monitoring and evaluation, everything needs technologies to be developed. Technologies, ICTs, trades, markets, and all that. So there are windows of opportunities for technology development along the perfect contortion and along the value chain. As I conclude, I always say challenges feed opportunities. There are people, when they see challenges, they get blocked. But some, when they see challenges, they see opportunities. The agricultural sector today, it's going through many challenges. I'm going to pick, just a few challenges that we're all aware of. As we are talking about, the COVID-19, what opportunities do we see within these challenges? There are many opportunities to develop, technologies in order to address the issues of, COVID-19. Climate change, it's one big challenge that we are confronted with, but it also offers opportunities to develop, technologies that help us to mitigate against the issues of climate change and also adapt. The issue of, food waste, researchers will tell you that the world produces enough food, but we are still have, food insecurity. And statistics tell us that over 40% of the food that is being produced in the world, it goes to waste. In that note, what opportunities are there? There are so many opportunities that help us to address, the issues of food waste. It could be opportunities after post-harvest. It could be opportunities along the value chain, but this offers some opportunities. Lastly, as we harness the different opportunities along the perfect contortion, along, the food security as we have defined it, we have to be mindful about the sustainability aspect. How do we advance with those technologies? In the same time, how do we make it more profitable? Yes, how do you make it more profitable? And how do we preserve the environment and also take advantage of the social aspect of the agriculture technology development? Kanimamba, I thank you.
Thank you, madam. Thank you. You appraised about the FAO's philosophy and the definition and the theme of availability, accessibility, utility, and sustainability through your own model of perfect opportunities. I'm sure that dwelling upon this particular perfect opportunities will help us in designing a new model of, sustainable food production, besides, restoration towards the food security. Thank you very much, madam, for your enlightened talk. Thank you so much. Yeah. Now we have Dr. M.S. Mrutyunjaya. Mrutyunjaya presently is the Managing Director and Chief Promoter of a famous Indian-based Sujai irrigation in Karnataka, and is graduated from Mysore University. He has worked in many lead agencies in India, especially in the irrigation front, and later he himself became an entrepreneur for this irrigation manufacturing and marketing unit known as Sujai Irrigation, which is very popular in the southern parts of the India. and is also a founder secretary of the Irrigation Association of Karnataka, and presently is the General Secretary of the Irrigation Association of India. So that being his reputation by virtue of his specialization and commitments into this irrigation science, and is also served as a member of the mini mission of water resource management of the state of Government of Karnataka. And he was a member of the National Task Force on Micro Irrigation of Government of India. And I'm sure that his practical involvement, his vision, and his entrepreneurship about the water management from the practitioner point of view will be of great relevance to us. I now call upon Mr. Mrityunjaya to address us. Please.
Thank you, Dr. Mahesh. Good afternoon, everybody. I thank Chairman, Chancellor, and Vice Chancellor of Best University for giving me this opportunity. As a student and practitioner of micro irrigation, I would like to share some of my thoughts for the information of with this august body. Dr. Suhaswani has explained about the water management in the country. So I would like to just deal some of the statistics what I have. I would like to share with you next. See, without water there is no life on the earth. So everybody knows that water is very, very important for the living beings, whether it is human, man, or animal, or plants. So if we take into consideration what is the water available on the earth, it is 1,400 million cubic kilometers. Such a vast water is available. But unfortunately, what is available for mankind is hardly 4 million cubic kilometers. That means 0.28% of the total water available on the universe. That is nearly 1,360 million cubic kilometers is seawater which cannot be used, and surface water which is fresh water. See, nearly 30 million cubic kilometers is in the form of ice caps, in polar areas, etc. And groundwater which is not accessible by mankind. That is deep groundwater. That is also 6 million cubic kilometers, leaving only 4 million cubic kilometers, which is rainwater, river water, and groundwater, what is accessible. This is the water availability for the entire world. See, coming to India, India accounts for 16% of the world population and 2.4% of the world's land and 4% of the world's water resources. That means we have very meager water resources and land resources, and we have very huge population to be fed. See, the total potential for irrigation in India is 139.9 million hectares, but potential created is 92.9 million hectares as of 2003 statistics. Now there is some more addition, but the potential utilized is 82.7 million hectares. That means either the irrigation resources facilities have been constructed, but canals are not ready, or somewhere canals are ready, but the irrigation dam is not completed. So there is a gap between the potential created and potential utilized. So with limited water resources in the country, we are left with almost 50% of the cultivable area under rain-fed cultivation. Next. See, if we study the food grains demand and irrigated area and cropped area in the country, if you take food grains demand, which was 247 million metric tons in 2010, it will be around 320 million metric tons by 2025. By 2050, when our population is expected to reach around 170 billion or so, 494 million metric tons food grains demand will be there. And net cultivable area, which is almost flat, 143 million hectares, which was there, we can reach up to 145 million hectares. So land is limited. And the total cropped area is going to be around 232 million hectares by 2050, and total irrigated area about 140 million hectares by 2050. That means with the limited water resources and land resources, the population is growing and we have to manage. For agriculture, the water pattern, demand pattern for agriculture, which was 470 cubic kilometers in 1985, it's going to be 740 in the year 2025. For non-agriculture purpose, from 70, it will go up to 280. That means the priority has to be given for drinking water, human habitat, industrial use, domestic use, and other things, and making it the extra amount of water for these sectors has to come from agriculture sector. That means we need to have modern technologies in agriculture to reduce the water consumption and other inputs consumption. See, globally, if we see the drip irrigation has been gaining ground, and if you see the adoption of drip irrigation in the different countries, USA and China are dominant with the 15% each, and India is in the third place with 11%, and Egypt 8%, and Tunisia 7%, and other small countries are there, and all other countries like European countries, Western countries, it is about 24%. So this is the area covered under drip irrigation so far. Next. See, before that, I would like to just say that agriculture consumes about 80% of the available water. So due to the increase in population and demand for non-agriculture sectors, resulting in less water availability for agriculture, the micro irrigation plays a major role. So National Task Force was set up to identify the potential for micro irrigation and steps to be taken by government and non-government agencies to bring more area under micro irrigation. So accordingly, about 69.5 million hectares has been identified in the country suitable for micro irrigation. So this was initially started in the year 1992 as a pilot project, and it took little shape in the year 2005 and 6, when then it became popular in most part of the country. See, so far, with all the government support and central and state government support, 11.9 million hectares, that means about 17% of the total potential area has been covered under micro irrigation. See, this micro irrigation has been popular in only in few states. Like penetration is very confined to few states like Maharashtra, Karnataka, AP, Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, Rajasthan, and Haryana. Rajasthan and Haryana started much earlier with sprinkler irrigation systems, but in Maharashtra, Karnataka, AP, and Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, there the adoption of drip irrigation is more because of the groundwater availability and cropping pattern. So drip irrigation has been gaining ground in all these states. See, presently, the present government of India has set a target of 10 million hectares to be brought under micro irrigation in the next 5 years. This was the election manifesto of the present central government, which helps in farmers' income doubling. So that was the aim, and currently about 1 million hectares only is brought under micro irrigation in the country per annum. Next. See, why we are stressing more on drip irrigation means, see, the maintaining of optimum moisture level in the soil at all stages of growth. That means through drip irrigation system, we apply water only directly to the root zone up to the depth of the root. That means almost 90-95% of the water applied is consumed by the plant. So it also prevents soil leaching because no water goes below the root zone. So by this adopting drip irrigation systems, see, we can save water between 20 to 65%. See, why I'm telling 20 to 65% means depends on the type of crop, spacing of the crops, soil condition, climatic condition, and so many other factors are involved. So, on an average, if you take, say, vegetables or sugarcane, which are the major crops, cash crops, which fetches good income to the farmers, the water saving will be to the tune of 35%. So if you come to fertilizer saving, next to water is fertilizer is also very important input for the agriculture. It varies from 20 to 50%. For example, banana and sugarcane, which requires a lot of fertilizers, the saving will be up to the 30%. See why this reduction? So this water is this is applied through through drip system in split doses. That is, at different stages of growth, this this fertilizer can be applied, thereby saving the fertilizers. So it reduces labor cost, savings in electricity to the tune of 20 to 50%. It is almost free to the farmers. This, government can save this, and it increases the yield between 20 to 50%. Next. See, it also improves the quality and early maturity and better returns to the farmers. Fertilizer pesticides can be fed through drip system and can be installed in problematic soils, undulated terrain without need for leveling. Irrigation during any time of the day or night, it is possible. It maintains soil health, and advantages of the above advantages will accrue only when micro irrigation with fertigation is adopted. See, what will be the impact of this bringing 69.5 million hectares under micro irrigation in the whole of India? So the saving in water will be 238 billion cubic meters per annum, saving the electricity cost of 17,460 crores per annum, which is either free or subsidized by the government, saving in fertilizer cost of 71,630 crores, which is also subsidized by the government, and employment generation around 11 crores per man days per annum, and additional income to the farmers up to 30% because of the increase in yield and better returns. So these are the things. And some next is greenhouse cultivation and net house cultivation. It will further enhance the quality and yield, reduces the pests and diseases. Climate control is possible under greenhouse cultivation. And next is automation, is another advanced technology where with equipments we can operate the drip system or sprinkler system with mobile application. We can operate with 7-8 components of fertigation can be fed through this automation drip system. So these are some of the benefits of drip system. See some of the field photographs. You can just post. See, these are all drip systems where we have installed, and farmers are getting benefit. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mrityunjaya, for your practice and experiences being shared. And starting as a micro irrigation, manufacturing unit and representing the state, you also reached the Government of India, wherein because of the inputs and the experience of you all, now Government of India has come out with a program known as Per Drop for More Crop. So this is where the adoption rate and the penetration rate of this micro irrigation has been very wide in the agricultural, section. And I'm sure that this is the one which is going to be a most important intervention for the proposed doubling of the farmers' income. Thank you very much for enlightening us with the practicals of this adoption of this drip irrigation. We look forward for your support in days to come. Thank you, Mrityunjaya. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes. With this, we now come to the end of today's part 15 webinar part, and we could get a lot of insights pertaining to the watershed management and water management technologies, and followed by the GIS application for the land planning part of it, then crop production technologies for high value crop production, then finally the prospects of opportunities for the food security. In all, this particular webinar is a mix of many integrated approaches. They have been collaborated in such a way that over a period of time, these are the ones which are going to should be focused in the policy formulation and in the preparation of plan. Well, on behalf of the BESTIU University, I thank all these speakers. Now, I request our respected senior advisor, Dr. Manmohan Singh Saab, to give his address and remarks on the topics being spoken by the speakers.
Thank you, Dr. Maheshwar, Vice Chancellor. Really, we are grateful to all our 6 eminent speakers who participated in today's webinar, and they have given their valuable suggestions and recommendations. Today's webinar basically focused on water management and use of technology. And water is very important. That has been highlighted. As Dr. Vani has said, it should be everybody's business to save water. And as we know, water is life. Jal hai to kal hai. If there is no water, there is no tomorrow. So therefore, it's very, very important topic today we have discussed. And it has to be really people's movement to save water, whatever way we can do. And the technology is available. We have to use technology, as our speakers have told from Africa, how technology can be used in different stages of production and making it available, food available to the people. Similarly, micro irrigation, watershed management, as well as remote sensing technology. All these things have been very nicely discussed today. And another very important thing which was discussed was Dr. Bimal Mohanty about the nutritional deficiency and the role of fisheries that in supply of cheap source of protein to the people, omega-3 fatty acids and other protein which is important, and we can prevent stunting in children. And it's a very, very severe problem in Africa as well as in Asia. 144 million children every year get stunted, and 50% of it they are in Asia and almost about 50% in Africa. So that's a very important intervention by fisheries. And one important thing about fishery is that we don't require additional land to produce fish. Just now, our last speaker, Dr. Mutsanjay, was telling 92 million hectare water bodies is available. 92 million hectare of water is available. We can integrate it with fisheries and fish production. So that is the importance of this sector. So this was really very useful suggestion given by Dr. Bimal Mohanty ji and all our speakers. They have given their wide experience in their field. We are really grateful to all our 6 speakers. I'm really grateful to our Chancellor, Madam Rupa ji, who has actually conceived this idea of webinar on global food security. And this is the 5th edition of our webinar on global food security and use of technology. I'm also thankful to our chairman, BESTIU Innovation University, Dr. Bharat Meena ji. I'm also thankful to Dr. Ayla from Indonesia, who is the world president of World Women Leading Change, Dr. Alice Kamunge, and Ambassador Debbie, and Dr. Joy from Africa, and all our respected speakers of today, and the faculty members of our BESTIU Innovation University, the Vice Chancellor, and all the students who participated and made this webinar a great success. I thank everybody, and we conclude and we close this webinar with this thanking everyone for making it a great success. Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Lami. See you sometime next. Namaskar. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Namaste. Thank you.